Like, and he played a weird old art of Four Leaders Call as well.
So Scott, obviously on camera on round one. Is the plan that Scott will just be featured every round? Is that?
Well, I think he'll stay on table one as long as he keeps winning out.
Okay. Sure.
And then when he loses, because he gets mana screwed, just manifesting that. Louis is gonna win the whole thing. Just go Oculus.
Oh, so Louis on Oculus. Okay, so we'll get to see this matchup play out then. That we're just talking about. Here it should be
playing Saj's badly built deck.
Here it should be slightly in favour. We actually have Saj sitting right next to us.
Got any spice in it, buddy? Oh, here we go.
You're gonna have to tell us what they are.
Right.
Coffee.
Yep. Hello. We'll find out when he plays it. Oh, okay. Yeah, we know you won't be able to hear Saj, but we will bring him. But our mics are set so you can't hear the background noise, so we might struggle. We're basically like dropping sick mixtapes the way we're having to hold the mic at the moment.
So, Saj, what do you think of the Blue Prowess matchup? Is your vJeskai build favoured into that?
This Scott playing Ori Cutter. So vJeskai Oculus, polish, probably with but a lot of removal, a lot of power on board as well. It's quite quick. Turn 3, it gets his engine going. So he's got like Torch the Towers, which is obviously Monstrous Rage, like that, going into. And if it hits Oculus, it's
Okay.
quite good in that, but I don't know if I'd hate Ori Cutter, if any. Probably Ghost Vacuums.
Yeah, a couple of Ghost Vacuums. That's certainly why I've been running on my list. Yeah, that's interesting because the data from the RCs kind of suggests that the Blue Prowess deck has a positive record against the vJeskai Oculus deck, but
So
both players come out with basically their ideal starts here, right?
the instant Homo is it body. Lots of the blocks. Don't mind it. Gain monster reach. Into
The exciting part is going to be one of them deals the other player damage, and we get to find out whether or not Jack has actually fixed the life total issue or not. So Louis drawn 3 pain lands here, right? Which is, although he's got all his colours, that's not ideal. Yeah, that life total should have been updated because you tapped that Shivan Reef for red already, yeah. That's a Cydetic memory, yeah. Okay, so yeah, presumably he doesn't have Delirium yet though, so he's only going to get to attack once with the Fear of Missing Out, but
aggressive.
I mean now it's up to 4 toughness as well. It's also at the point where Torch the Tower doesn't take it out. That's going to be potentially difficult for Scott to deal with. He's going to have to maybe block and then use a removal spell.
They played the 2. One in a ring.
On the dream.
Oh, it's...
Okay, I'm just gonna go on record as saying I've never seen that card. I've never seen it played against me
sorcery speed.
on arena. I've never played it myself.
You wouldn't understand, Doug, it's a new card. I don't have an old board, whiteboard, so...
Is it available in Japanese?
Probably.
Okay, so Scott's on board with the steel cutter. There's a stock up in the graveyard. Steam Kim. Yeah, okay. If he discards that Profs, that's going to get him... That's the difficult one, presumably, right? 3 types, yeah. Oh, Meticulous Archive, so he can get there. Just any instant or sorcery you've been here, right? That's... Oh, it's another Oculus.
Also not.
Certainly not the worst. I assume, though, that he doesn't have a way to reanimate the Oculus because otherwise... Well, maybe he drew into one off the Steamkin, but presumably you're not Steamkinning there if you had a way to put Oculus. Boomer comes in again. So Scott's... Although he's got the Otter and he's got the Cutter, he looks quite behind this game.
Let's play this.
Yeah, he can potentially catch up pretty quick.
Problem is you can't. Gun taps here.
Slick shot.
Or booty. Quite a lot.
Yeah.
Another steel cutter. Okay, so Scott's plan is another talent. So yeah, Scott's plan here is to go wide. Yeah, I mean it's maybe optimistic to try and one-shot, but you can certainly, you know, attack. You'll lose one of your monks probably, or maybe the Otter, I guess, but you know, you're gonna make another monk next turn. Scott's got quite a lot of cards in hand. The stock-ups give him a lot to work with. So, oh, is that an into the flood mode in Scott's hand? That's potentially quite good. So I think the Otter should be 3/3, right? Because from the Cutter and from the Talon. And one of the monks is a 3/3 and the other monk is 2/2.
No.
Okay. Both the monks are 2. Okay. Okay. So it looks like Louis got a Torch the Tower in hand, which, you know, obviously not terrible. It removes one of the creatures, but it's not where you want to be really if your opponent has 2 cutters in play and they're just going to make 2 more guys next turn. Yeah, I mean, he's at least got the Meticulous Archive now, so he's got 1 land that doesn't deal damage when he taps it. I mean, he... feels like this game turned around quite quickly there. You know, Scott went into that turn very behind on board, and now they head on live test. So looks like he's potentially head on board.
So, cursor. So you make items.
Okay.
And yet, as
Well, that gives him delirium. He's discarding the torch. The torch is the first instant, so
get to cast it.
so he's put the counters on the Steamcore Scholar, presumably because it has vigilance. Yeah, he's going to get to attack twice with that anyway. He'll get to untap, presumably. Well, yeah, okay. All right. Well, that was quite important for Scott, I think. That resolved. Okay, so he's untapped the taser. So the taser gets 2 counters, becomes a 5/5, right? So it's not lethal on its own. Oh, and he's just passed. He hasn't even taken the second attack. Yeah, he missed the Proff's trigger. Oh, the taser trigger. Alright, so yeah, and getting the Proff's trigger cost him there, obviously, because torch the park and then take out the taser. He's set to Storm Chaser Talon. That's 2 spells this turn, so that triggers both the cutters again. Monks and his Otters are all 3/3s now. These monks will be... So, it's 9, 13 damage. Yeah, that's it. Get one over. Just got once again, does the... Still had all these.
Hey, this is me, Old Demo Dave. The main channel is here. Go follow that. That's where we do lots more MTG content. I'm glad you're here, and don't forget you can pick up a bulk box with a code that is in the description. If you want to not have this whole mess on your table, you can get a bulk box to store your magic cards. Let me show you mine. This is my bulk box, stickers and all. It's over 2 years old. It sits literally next to a tumble dryer. All my cards are in perfect condition. There is the best solution to tidy up a room that you no longer have any mess anywhere. Get your bulk box today. Enjoy the next part of the video. Yeah, and don't forget, main channel is here. Yeah.
So Louis mulliganed, but Scott's kept his hand.
Scott's had good luck today so far. He must be due at like multi 4.
So is that... Okay. It looks like he's bottoming it. Is that a Shelter by Ghost he's bottoming?
I will keep that.
Okay, he has kept it in the end. So that's either Profts or a Steamcore, I think. I think it's a Profts. And then looks like he's got a couple of lands,
Well, these ones don't deal him 1,000 damage, so that's
which he's got to feel pretty good about.
So he kept the cards. He kept the card that I said to take.
that's fine. Next Sunday's
Mistakes were
Sunday,
made. That's fine.
The thing is, it's one of those cards that if it does stick around, which it doesn't, it can snowball very, very quickly in this toss.
But you take a livemagic barrage if you're gonna, this turn play a FOMO, put something in the bed,
Okay, that's a Profts.
So I like this playing Prophecy Edict on turn 2. Not Prophecy Edict. It just sets you up for every other turn your 3 drops big doing 4/4s.
So presumably the ideal play out here is to play a taser, draw 2 cards, add 2 counters, and then.
Put that Oculus in the bin. No white mana either, I just noticed.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Is that a hand of 3 drops?
So turning this into a spell is probably.
Oh my good night.
Yeah.
Okay. River Power,
It does play
River
good
Power
as well,
Verge
which
for
is-
once turned on for Scott. That's
Steel card decks not play Spell Pierce as well?
sometimes, I mean, not all that many copies, but
Yeah.
maybe like 1 or maybe 2 copies in the main, and then
So that's like a hand.
potentially more on the board. I don't think this is a matchup where you'd bring in extra copies though, and I might even sideboard out
no.
the Spell Pierces.
So, you know, being able to just like pierce at turn 2, turn 3, cut up, you know, the tempo that gives you would be huge.
Yeah. Well, that's aggressive.
But the bolt in response. It's a casual 6 for 1 mana.
What do we think Monstrous Rage there tells us about the shape of Scott's hand?
It's quite aggressive, it's a 2 open mana. So he's either got a hand of gas or he's just not afraid of what Louis doing.
White mana for Louis, but it does come into play tapped, so that's not ideal, and he just passes.
His hand.
I don't know. It is a red card.
I think he's got an upgrade in hand. So I've got like fancy
Oh, like a-
upgrade in there. So
Oh, do you? Is that what it is?
if Scott's just going to do that, then
Yeah, stock up from Scott. Like
think-
that's.
this is a good time to play the upgrade now before he can cast another spell. To pump that up to a 3/3. Oh, 3/3, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you just do it, trigger on the stack, and the next spell he's maybe trying to get another rage or something. I think it's fine to wait on this one.
I assume Louis may be holding the abraid for a cutter though. I mean,
Yeah.
particularly if he thinks that's what Scott's digging
Taking a lot
for.
of damage, right? So it's another.
It's another, yeah, 3. I mean, he's got to do something.
Can't just draw pass again.
It's like all spells, no creatures.
It does look like all spells. Sheltered by ghosts in there and everything.
What's the blue card on the far right of his hand? Is
Into
it
the flood mode.
into the flood moor?
I don't know what the other 2 on the left.
So I mean, if he's got into the flood moor and a braid, like it would make more sense for him to have used into the flood moor on the auto token and then save the braid for the cutter. But
Maybe a Winterlight Stories.
another talent from Scott.
Play the flood ball, Louis. Be the best that ever was. And
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Played round spell pierce beautifully. Scott adjusts to watch. He's under pressure. His heart rate's going up.
Yeah. But I mean, the
Scott's
two.
actually quite light to not play a threat there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely right to say that the Oculus deck has the better long game, but one of the ways Scott can kind of stay in it in the long game is by having multiple talents and using them to recur things like stock up.
Yeah. If this turn, if he just like picks up the stock up, chips in for 1, like
Oh, that's a cutter. Scott's just drawn. Does he have a second spell to turn it on? This is the other weird thing about the Prowess deck sometimes. You end up with hands where the second spell you want to play to turn on your cutter is something that needs you to have a creature to target it. Okay, in this case Scott's got the otter, but you often end up in a situation where you're top decking a cutter and then
that's rough.
can't. Yeah, I mean this is kind of. It looks like that's the kind of hand Scott's got, where if that's the second spell he's playing. But this is what? That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 damage.
The auto, it's 6 on the auto alone. Prowess plus 3 now.
So 8 damage
He's got the upgrade.
for the cutter, but taking
Takes the haste off. He's still going to take a chunk unless he's got another.
take 6.
Yeah.
See, this is where I thought.
5 is a very low life total against against this Prowess deck.
But if he draws, you know, a creature here, and then a shelter on it, eat your thing, have a blocker.
Ooh, lockdown.
Temporary lockdown.
Bad. He does lose his props though.
But he gets everything on Scott's side of the board as well, right?
Yeah, he also gets everything on his side of the board.
His side of the board didn't have much.
Scott's got Floodmaw in his hand, so he's just going to bounce it with trigger on the stack. Surely the play there is you let it resolve.
Well, if you bounce it with the trigger on the stack, your tokens don't go away
Yeah, but he gets 2 more triggers
from the talents.
from the talents coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the difference is the enchantment for Monstrous Rage would go away, right? That you'd be in the same position otherwise. You'd have an otter instead of a monk, but they're basically the same.
I guess he also gets to see another card.
Well, it's prowess, right? So it doesn't matter. Just 2 more lockdowns. in his hand.
Yeah,
He
he
was stuck on white mana,
He
right?
just drew. Oh, I'm Scott at that.
Yeah, okay.
Rough hands for Louis there. Scott's been run very well today.
Yeah, I mean, in the first game, it was kind of the mana base that got him, right? And,
Yeah,
but then,
well, I mean that's what the 4th game in the mountains. He's in multiple ranges with minis top, 20, 25.
So I feel like there he should have not waited to upgrade the cutter. Should have got rid of the otter that turn.
Yeah, I
just to
think-
preserve the life total.
Yeah, when you've got nothing going on, you got to play to live rather than saving it for the most optimal play.
Yeah, and I don't know if he had the Into the Floodmaw on that turn where he had 2 mana up and Scott was attacking with the otter, and we were talking about whether or not he should braid it. But I mean, if he has Into the Floodmaw and a braid there, I think you probably use the Into the Floodmaw, right?
Yep.
Just
Yeah,
because you don't have that many other answers to the
I
cutter.
think it's the later turns that you don't let the other ones chip in and you just take the hits off.
Alright, so yeah, it looks like Scott did have Ghost Vacuums in his sideboard. He had the Lithomantic Barrage. He has, that's a Spell Pierce, right? And then
bring in the Pierce.
what's the full art card there? Is that a different Spell Pierce? Negate, okay.
That's the play other award negates, which do look sick.
Alright, he took out the Slick Shots, which I guess makes sense, because the Oculus deck does have like a bunch of flying creatures that can just trade it into it, yeah.
And you took out the hatches as well. You took out a lot of creatures.
Well, yeah, I
Trying to
mean,
win a value game off talents.
and that maybe explains why Scott was having to aggressively target his altars with the Monstrous Rages, because
Yeah.
he sideboarded out a lot of the better creatures. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that sideboarding plan, but it obviously worked out from there.
Well, not having white mana until turn 4, 3 lockdowns in hand is quite rough. So it is what it is. That's the thing about playing.
Well, you're playing a 3-colour deck in a format with no fetch lands. It's always going to be rough, innit?
I don't think it's going to get any better with the format rotating as well.
Well, we lose pain lands and some of the fasts as well. We lose a lot of mana base. And I don't think those Verges are the saviour everyone thinks they are. I think those Verges are an absolute trap. Unless you are a light splash in a second colour, I think they're 100% a trap. I think they're the same in Modern as well. People are playing them, in Blue Black Frog instead of the fast land. And I'm like, they just seem worse.
Yeah, maybe it means standard decks have to play a few more basics though, which I feel would do some decks quite a lot of good actually, just having more basics and all this.
A lot of them do play
There's Scott's sending some kind of message out there into the world.
I don't know what it could say.
The-
Some weird Welsh language. No. Can you translate it?
The intent, I think, is unclear. Could be
I
anything.
don't know what it could possibly mean. Wizards of the Coast would never make any design mistakes.
He's either trying to order a pizza or it's some kind of hostage situation, I think.
Does anyone know Corey Steelcutter? Have you got their number? Can we phone them? Is James still here?
Okay, so
How's it hanging, homies?
Living the dream.
hey Scott, do you wanna come and talk to us about that matchup? Do you wanna come and talk to us about the message that you've left on the table?
You don't have to be
So-
close, you come to my scale.
Yeah, I know. So Sarge is giving Louis some advice about the matchup as well. It's meant to be a bad matchup, right? As far as I'm aware.
So,
Like,
So-
Prowess is one of the decks that can beat Prowess.
So Sarge thinks it's a bad matchup for the Prowess deck, but the RC data suggests that it's about 55-45 in the Prowess deck's
The
favour.
RC data suggests that Izzet Prowess should be 90% of every tournament, right? So, yeah, ban Corey Steelcutter. That's the only thing. Ban Corey Steelcutter, ban Monstrous Rage, ban Up the Beanstalk. Give us a fucking standard format back.
artist talent, I hate that card.
Well,
Just because it's in everything.
It is
Too
also
splashable.
It is also a very good matchup when your opponent draws nothing but dead cards in lands.
Yeah, well, it helped.
That's awesome.
It helped a lot as well that all of his lands in the first game dealt him damage.
That too. I think.
I was like, oh, cast a spell, bolt myself.
Yeah, it dealt him what, like 4 damage over the course of the game?
No, I think it was more than that. I think it was like 5 or 6.
Sure.
It was,
I mean,
a lot.
like,
Yeah, he didn't have a.
I had a massive overkill at the end of that.
He
So I
was
had a
on
Monstrous
like,
Rage as well.
yeah, he was on like 18 by like, or like 17 by
I think
Yeah.
it's done like
yeah, like he, because all these lands were dealing him damage.
Yeah, his first 3 lands were pain lands, and then he made a meticulous archive on turn 4. So
it's the issue with the standard format right now, right? Where all the good untapped lands are either fast lands, which leans towards aggro, or pain lands, which leans towards aggro. And then, like, their fix for it is in Final Fantasy, they're giving a starting town, which is also a pain land.
Yeah, but you lose all the other pain lands.
Every deck just becomes a conglomeration of 1-drops across 2 colours, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Stop making 1-drops so fucking good and ban Corey Steelcutter. Let us play mid-range decks again.
Nah. Just click and bulk. So it rotates the decks no longer play. Big sack.
okay, so it looks like we're still somewhere away from the first round finishing. I'm gonna put us back on a break while I make Jack run to the bar and get another round in, and then we'll hopefully be back. This is gonna say 20 minutes, but that's just because I don't know how to set the timer to anything else. We will hopefully be back a lot quicker than 20 minutes. Speak to you soon.